Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. We are starting out the week very shaky. That's because people are still feeling what happened over this weekend and including last week. People don't know what to expect. Is the max pain in for Bitcoin and crypto? Are we going to see a turnaround? Did we see bottom? These are things we will try to answer today and look at how the market reacts overall. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out the day at 78.2. Wow. Back in the 70s, we fell down from last week of 88, 89, 90,000, fell down to 84,000, and then yesterday we had a huge sell-off that brought us almost to 73,000. We were at 74,005 and we recovered a little bit from it. But obviously looking at this does not look good. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. You would figure with this much volatility, with how much has been sold, you know, like silver and gold must be skyrocketing, right? That's the thing. They ain't. In fact, they had the worst sell-off in like 50 plus years. Silver's not skyrocketing anymore. It fell from 120s down to $80. It actually went lower, went to 71 on Friday. And it hardly moved right now. Same thing with gold. $5,500 down to $4,400. Where did the money go? No one seems to know that right now. Right? Like all the money exited from gold and silver. We're talking about trillions. Trillions. And trillions came out of Bitcoin and crypto altogether. Where did the money go? I think that's the biggest question right now, right? Like, all on the sidelines? Or into some whales and they're ready to load up. I don't know. We'll see. But that bothers me. Like, no one seems to know where the money went. It's like gone. Normally you see a rotation from one risk off assets to risk on to risk off. Right now it's off from everything. You know? All right. So starting the week, kind of okay. The futures market was actually much worse last night. It was like minus 500 for Dow, and now it's barely in the red. NASDAQ, barely in the red. Okay, so we're starting a week okay. Not bad. VIX is up. That means volatility, yes. But, again, where did the money go? This says gold and silver recover after last week's historic low. Not really. Not really. We reset, basically, going back for weeks. So what is there today? Well, nothing specifically today. We do have the government shutdown that is still ongoing. Reportedly, it will be concluding by tomorrow. That's if there's not any more disruptions. Okay. So there is that to look forward to. That maybe with the government shutdown over, it's going to make investors, Wall Street feel a little more easy. Because last time we had it, it wasn't good. We had over a month or 2 months of shutdown and things were crashing then. And maybe that's one of the big reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing. Okay. This week, if you're looking at data, we do have a lot of data. ADP report on Wednesday, but a big jobs report with unemployment will be coming out this Friday. That always moves things. If things come in line with expectations, fine. But if they're really off, it could be good or bad, depending on which direction it's off. So we'll see. We will see. And also, I'm seeing this. UK formed a big deal with China. So PopMart, JD.com, and others, they are going to be coming into UK in a big way. I don't know. I kind of figured it already there, but maybe in a bigger way. Maybe there's no more tariffs or whatever, right? And Trump does not like this. Trump already warned the UK that this could be very dangerous. You know, this kind of all started when Trump said he wants to take over Greenland. Okay, that's kind of when things like went to hell. So a lot of these countries are now recognizing Trump's going us first, or, you know, US first, right? As he should, because he is the president of the United States, so he should be looking at the United States first. But all these European countries are like, well, maybe we need to do the same. Maybe we need to do our own deals instead of just rely on the US. But you know Trump, he doesn't like things like this. He threatened Canada with a 100% tariff when Carney tried to do it, and Carney's like, okay, I'm not going to make a deal with China anymore. So we'll see how Trump reacts to the UK over this. 100% tariffs coming? I hope not. Because all these tariffs, all these moves have not been good for markets. You know, Wall Street and investors do not like uncertainty. If you haven't noticed yet, it's pretty obvious. Anything that comes out geopolitically, especially with tariffs, just wreck things. So hopefully we calm it down a little bit. But outside of these, we do have a big meetup at the White House. Now, I'm not too hopeful because I've seen this playbook before where Trump invites all these big crypto people and he has a talk. They do a little, you know, show and greet, you know, song and dance, whatever. And they get in front of cameras, but nothing really comes out of it. I don't know if today will be any different. So you have like Brian Armstrong of Coinbase, Brad Garlinghouse of Ripple, and I don't know who the CEO of Kraken is anymore. It's not Jesse Powell, I don't think. But they're going to talk about stablecoin regulation, which I don't know why they're doing that because we already have the Genius bill. But the Clarity Act is what everyone wants to talk about. Coinbase recently pulled out of support for it. Maybe they're going to revise it. Maybe they're going to advise him. I don't know. But there is that. A lot of people are very hopeful for this, but we've seen this twice before and it really went nowhere. So I don't have big expectations for this. Outside of that, good thing ETF inflow outflows were closed over the weekend because had it been open, yesterday would have been real nasty for outflows. So today, we don't know the numbers yet. We'll see. If today's a good recovery day, then we can actually see inflow. But, you know, we just don't know. It's too early. But on Friday, we had a negative 500 million outflow for Bitcoin and minus 252 for ETH. XRP was still positive, 617 million. That's actually really good. And Sol was negative. That's the first time I think I've seen Sol have a negative day. Well, I guess we'll see how things are today because obviously we came down big time over the weekend. Our investors go sell off their ETF today. I don't know. But here's the thing. While everything, sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up yet. While everything is down and out and it's very bearish, I know that. I mean, like, I couldn't believe that Sol fell below $100 yesterday. Could not believe it. Do you know the last time Sol was below $100? Back all the way. April 2025. We fell down almost a year. And the time before that was February of 2024. And the time before that, I mean, the first time we saw it was September of 2021. So you could argue SOL has fallen back to September 2021 levels. Right? Like, that's bad. There's no way to get around that. I mean, some of these have fallen so badly, they're even before 2021 levels. Like AVAX, if you look at, I mean, that's the bottom of crypto winter right there. And then if you go back further, yeah, it's like you can't even measure anymore. So I know it's bad. And it seems like all hope is lost. Okay? But here's the thing. Raoul Pal explains why the market isn't broken. And I looked into it. He put into this big article. He wrote this big article. And it starts with his friend asking him about SaaS stocks and how they've been decimated. And then he correlates Bitcoin with SaaS stocks, and they look exactly the same. Why is that? Why is that? Well, to sum it up for you guys, basically he talks about liquidity. Okay, how it's dried up. Government shutdowns do not help. Our business cycle being down does not help. Elevated rates does not help. Gold and silver skyrocketing does not help. There's just not enough liquidity. And that's what we're seeing right now. And it makes a whole lot of sense. This is really the first cycle we've been tested where we're not following the usual 4-year schedule. Okay, we really tested it. And now we know that it no longer exists. Prior years, for whatever reason, things lined up. Liquidity started flowing, okay, or rates started cutting, or there's a new presidential election, whatever the case. Things lined up and Bitcoin and crypto rallied. But this year, this last 3 years, things didn't really line up. And things got out of whack. That's why liquidity just wasn't there. But we know when liquidity comes back, that's when things start skyrocketing. Right now, it's not just Bitcoin and crypto is struggling. Everything is, with the exception of Clash. Clash is doing just fine. But everything else is struggling. Right? Even JP Morgan, not that we really want to listen to JP Morgan about anything, but even they say gold and silver are now oversold because of what happened last Friday. It was out of whack. Gold and silver never should have gone up this high, this fast at all. It's because something's broken, forcing people to FOMO in, not as a store of value, but as an investment, it's like a degen investment. People were FOMOing in because how fast it was moving. So, that played a huge part. I've said that before. That has to play a huge part because it's sucking out liquidity from everything else. But that's the thing. They both came down. So where did that money go? I think it's sitting on the sidelines waiting, whoever pulled out, waiting to enter in a big way again. But we just don't know who. Who's behind that? Who pumped it up in the first place? Who caused all that FOMO? And now, who took out all that money? Some say it's Binance. I hate to say it, Binance gets blamed for everything, but there's a lot of coincidences. The day before gold and silver crash, who introduced futures? Take a wild guess who introduced futures of gold and silver right before the crash. That's right, Binance. I didn't even know that happened, but I was told that's what happened. That's why CZ and Binance also getting blame over the crash. I don't know if that's true or not. There's a lot of FUD around Binance right now. A lot more than usual. But to help, I think, with that PR problem, they've decided that they're going to start buying Bitcoin. So they bought 100 million. Okay, in total, they're going to buy 1 billion. So that's good. Whenever you see large purchases, obviously, right? But they do have a lot of controversy. You know who else has a lot of controversy right now? Justin Sun. Not a whole lot of people talk about Tron or Justin Sun that much. But Justin's also trying to, I think, buy some PR by buying 100 million of Bitcoin. Now, why is that? And this somehow relates back to Binance. Well, in the early days, you know, Tron was on Binance, right? They got big after getting listed on Binance. But why is that? Well, Justin Sun's ex-girlfriend is now coming out and saying that she's in possession of evidence that he was behind the pumps and made a lot of money by doing it. And she's inviting the SEC to go talk to her because she has all the evidence. No idea why she's doing it now. After all these years, right? She says he has used identity of multiple employees based in Beijing to operate accounts at Binance Exchange. So it's all somehow tied to Binance for some reason. So there's that. You know, these things aren't helping, okay? These things aren't helping at all. Just a lot of fun, a lot of distractions during a time of panic and FUD. I'm glad at least Saylor is staying strong, even though he's taking a whole lot of heat. Very, very much so. So much heat, it's incredible because he's the poster child of Bitcoin now. He's the new Bitcoin Jesus. Peter Schiff is on him. Even Jim Cramer's on him. Jim Cramer was trolling him, saying that Saylor will come out and pump Bitcoin back to 86K with his buys. Right? And yesterday, briefly, I believe, we touched upon the average price or went below the average price of Strategy's holdings, which of course is never good. Because right now, we're barely above that, but people wonder what happens if we go below that. Saylor have said, even if Bitcoin falls to $1, they won't be liquidated. Okay? They're not playing leverage that way. But there are people that are wondering how strategies go pay out all their dividends if Bitcoin does not continue to go up, because they kind of formed this model where they have to keep selling shares and or borrowing money to pay the dividends they have promised on those 5 different preferred stocks that they have offered. Look at Peter Schiff just continues to troll. But I'm glad there are people like Saylor, okay? I'm not sure about his endless selling and diluting of shares to buy Bitcoin, but at least he's holding strong, right? And I'm holding strong, and a lot of you guys are holding strong because you know that right now the geopolitical and macro conditions suck, okay? They just do. And really no one's winning at this point. Even people playing leverage, shorting the market, they're losing. I showed something last night. People that lost 9 figures, 8 figures, 7 figures, right? The market is so volatile. No one can predict what's going on. So that's why us Bitcoiners and us long-term holders, we're staying put. We're not going anywhere. We're not making any drastic moves. The fundamentals of Bitcoin, I believe, are still fantastic, regardless of where the price is. That may be hard to hear for a lot of people. They may not believe that, okay? If the price is lower than the high, it's down like 50%. How can it? No, it's not 40. It's like 30 or 40%. But how could the fundamentals be the same or even greater? Well, you look at the maturity. You look at the new regulations, okay? Look at who have entered the market, who has bought Bitcoin, who has bought Strategy, right? These are things that have never happened before, ever. because Bitcoin was too new, too immature. Now it's different. Now we have official reserve, United States reserve, a Bitcoin reserve. We have states that have reserves. We have all these favorable regulations now, right? It's being talked about. It's not being shut down anymore. Innovation is happening. And we have all these Bitcoin treasury companies, and we have a lot of major banks, central banks even, that are loading up on Bitcoin, Bitcoin ETFs, or companies like Strategy because they want a piece. All these things can't be ignored. Part of the growing fundamentals. Now, if we were going down from top and none of these things were happening, right, and we still had someone like Gary Gensler in power that was trying to shut everything down, I would say, yeah, then the fundamentals haven't gotten any better and probably getting worse, but that's just not the case. Metaplanet still going. We know the money system is broken, right? Most of us understand that if we're in Bitcoin. So that brokenness isn't going to get fixed anytime soon. And that's why Bitcoin was created. And still one of the great reasons why you want to hold it, because it still is one of the best, if not the best. And whatever we went through the last 3 months, 4 months, is not a reflection of what Bitcoin is or what it can be in the future. Okay? We're just going through some tough times right now. That's really what it comes down to. It's distraction. So are we going to flip above? Did we hit max pain for Bitcoin? It's hard to tell at this point. It's hard to tell. Today could be a good indicator of whether or not we hit that max pain. Okay, we hit a level that we haven't seen in a year. In fact, if you look at this right now, we have fallen right below the realized price of Bitcoin ETFs. And the last few times this has happened, okay, Bitcoin went on a rally. And again, went back to 2024, like about a year ago, right? It happened in July and stuff. That's with the ETFs. But if you look at just like the total cost of a Bitcoin, we're slightly below that. And when do we usually see that happen? During bottoms of crypto winters. Back in 2018, 2019. Back during the COVID crash in 2020. Back to the FTX fall in 2022. And we saw it briefly in 2024. And now we're seeing it again. What happens when we fall below? Generally speaking, that's the bottom, that's the max pain, and then we rally from there. So, we'll see. We will see if we do recover quickly, or maybe it takes a little bit longer. But one thing's for certain, we will recover. It's a matter of when, not if. Now, I showed this last night, too, in case you didn't see it. This is the Wyckoff accumulation. Okay? This is what the whales, or the manipulators, more specifically, does to markets to drive people out so they can accumulate. This pattern has been around for hundreds of years. This guy named Wyckoff actually discovered it. He didn't create it, he discovered it. And throughout periods of Bitcoin cycles, we have seen this happen over and over and over and over again. That spring is kind of the last dip to drive people out before we recover. So this could be it. Could be it. Oh, and by the way, short term, we now have a CME gap of 84,000. So at the very least, we'll get back up there soon. Just like all these nasty CME gaps to the bottom side, we do have a CME gap up to the upside. So short term, there's that to look forward to. But long term, I do believe something like this is happening. Maybe not intentionally because of all the FUD that's out there, okay? Maybe not intentionally, but definitely something's going on. And it's hard to hold. Look at this. I know it's hard to hold, but if you're questioning yourself and you feel bad, trust me, you don't feel as bad as Tom Lee right now, who's holding $7 billion in unrealized losses with all the ETH that he has bought in his treasury firm, BitMine. Okay? But is he selling at this point? No. As far as I know, he's not. And he staked most of it because he plans on holding for a long, long time. And he's in fact, actually going to try to raise more money and buy more Bitcoin. ETH. So sometimes you just got to go through tough times. And if you do have cash, then it's great because you get to buy things at a discount, at a steep, steep discount right now, especially Bitcoin. And even Clash. Look at this. Prediction markets hit 12 billion in volume in January. Coinbase joined in. They're using Kalshi. Okay, and everyone else is using Polymarket or Opinion. There's another one, and then there's a few others. Okay. And that happens to be the future of Clash. We have been running ClashPicks, the world's simplest prediction marketplace, for the last 4 days. Our volume is going up. People love making predictions on ClashPicks, and you could do it absolutely free. We give out P-Clash to everyone. People love it. We have events of all sorts. Sports, politics, world events, crypto, Clash. Okay, we got events out the wazoo. So I like to invite you guys to check it out. And it is the future of Clash. That's why Clash is holding so well. Clash is still holding at 47 million. It was just at like 49 just a few seconds ago. You know, when we came out with Clash, okay? When I came out with Clash and debuted it, Sol was at $220 and it went up to like $240. Now, and that was when Clash was at 30K market cap. Now we're at 47 million and Sol is at like $100. So think about that. Think about how strong this project has been, despite all the nastiness that we have seen since October to now. We have steadily held, and not only that, have gone up. It's like the strongest project in this space right now. It really is. So I've been telling you guys, don't ignore, don't fade. It's a fantastic project that I'm leading, and I'm going to push to $1 billion when the market conditions improve. But ClashPicks, if you guys haven't used it, use it. It's awesome. I use it on a daily basis, and we're still adding more things to it. All right, that is it. Man, gold and silver not recovering. Robinhood down freaking 9% today, almost 10%. So that's not good. Strategy down 6%, Coinbase down 4%, and Bitcoin is kind of holding right where we started, 77.8. Let's do some Q&A. This morning, I know ClashPicks, for those of you guys are wondering, a little slow this morning. So we're looking into it, but man, volume has been great. People have been making predictions. We got a ton over sports. We had a ton over the government shutdown, and there's still some about that. Of course, the Super Bowl's coming up. We had a lot for the Grammys. You know, people are using ClashPicks. It's awesome. And if we can capture, I mean, look at this, 12 billion in one freaking month. If we could just capture 1% of that, okay? I'm not even looking to overtake anyone. Even 1% of that, do you guys realize how much that is? That's 120 million per week. If we could just capture an entire, just 1% of the entire market, and that is growing by every month, by the way, that will make Clash so deflationary, it'll make your head spin. And that's where we're leading to. Just even 1%. 1%. We have UFC predictions also up too. And we're going to do full sports integration soon. So it's going to be quite amazing, guys. It's quite amazing. People love it. The platform is solid. Mobile is solid. We're going to make apps soon. We're going to do a DEX integration. We're going to have recurring events. We're going to have a lot of short-term events. That's what people are asking for. We have a lot of long-term, but people are like, okay, I want things that settle like in a day or two. So we're going to start doing a lot. So every morning, starting tomorrow, I'm going to talk about it tonight. Every morning, we're going to have an event created just to predict how many live viewers will be watching. I think that'll be fun. So you can make predictions of how many live viewers are watching my show in the morning. We'll have a lot around the SPX, SP 500, NASDAQ, VIX. We'll have a whole bunch that are daily events that people can predict on. But not only that, of course, Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin's going to close today at? Or what ETH is going to close at today? I mean, we'll have a lot more, okay? We're going to go all out. It's going to be insane. Very excited, and this is all part of the Clash ecosystem. You know, like over the weekend, I'll tell you, everyone in Discord was saying, I didn't even really notice Bitcoin's fall because of how strong Clash was. Honestly, that's the thing too. It's like Clash didn't move. Everything else did, but Clash didn't move at all to the downside. Like if you were holding it and you're only looking at that, you would think, okay, the market's fine. JL Molly says, George, you and your alpha are better than a latte a day. Thank you for that. Plus, your prediction market is the best. I appreciate that. What's happening in the UK? I don't know, but I hope Trump doesn't retaliate over this. Okay? So, the UK and China, they came to some kind of business agreement, some open trade agreement. And Trump is probably not going to like this. So I'm hoping he doesn't like just go crazy and say, okay, we're going to throw 100% tariffs on Britain now. Hopefully that's not the case. But it worked against Canada. Hopefully tomorrow also the shutdown is over too. That will help things. I don't think people like the fact that we're in a shutdown. I did not make my Super Bowl prediction yet, so I don't quite know. Patriots or Seahawks? I mean, I haven't been paying attention to either one, but if you're looking at it right now, most of the bids are on the Seahawks, 76% to 24% in Clash. So usually the masses win, but in a lot of cases that's not the case. You know? Who knows? But we got a lot on here. We're going to start doing a lot more short-term stuff, and that's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. Clarkson React says, I don't truly think there will be an event that would scare me into selling. The diamond hands are real. That's good. I mean, if you live through some of these, okay, cycles, and this is my fourth cycle, I've seen some bad stuff. I've seen USDT depeg. That was a big deal. I've seen FTX collapse. I've seen Celsius collapse, Voyager collapse, BlockFi collapse. I've seen those. I've seen COVID crash when everything sold. Bitcoin went down like 60, 70% in a few days. I mean, I've seen all the bottoms of crypto winter, right? So, like, I've seen a lot of things that are very, very scary and not good for Bitcoin and crypto. And despite what we're seeing now, it's not nearly as bad as those times. Okay? Now, if something fundamentally changes, like Binance goes belly up, okay, that would be something big. If Tether goes belly up now, that would be huge. Those things cannot be ignored. But even if those things happen, those are probably the worst case. Like if I had to say the three worst things that could happen right now, that would be like a nuke on crypto. Number one, if Saylor decides to sell Bitcoin from strategy, that would probably be the biggest nuke. Number two would be Binance goes belly up. And number three would be Tether going belly up. How likely is it that Tether will go belly up? I would say near 0%. They're making so much money. Okay? They're buying Bitcoin and gold every quarter now. Before it was still iffy whether or not they had enough money for all the redemptions. But now they're making so much money, probably the most in the industry, so the chance of them going belly up is near zero. What about Binance? The chance of them going up belly up, I'd still say it's near zero. There's a lot of regulatory probably agencies looking at them, but they have been through scrutiny. They made a deal with the US government, for God's sakes. CZ is pardoned. So like, what else are they gonna go after him for? So it's like, and they're making money hand over fist too. So it's very unlikely they go to zero. So Saylor selling, it wouldn't be anytime soon. I think for the dividend payouts, they really start in 2027 and then 28, 29, right? Unless Bitcoin in the next 2, 3, 4 years, it doesn't move and continues to hover here or even go down more, he has nothing to worry about. Because Bitcoin starts recovering, strategy stock starts going up, and then he could sell more and he could just keep that thing going forever. But those would be the three worst case scenarios. What if we saw Satoshi's wallet selling? I guess that would be 4. But even if he was selling, it wouldn't be as bad as Strategy selling at this point. Strategy has forced so many companies to recognize Bitcoin as an asset to hold. Look at how many treasury companies there are now, right? Even as Satoshi starts selling, which I think is close to 0%, because I think whoever Satoshi is, basically has lost the keys or is dead. So I think the chance of it is very, very, very low. Very, very, very low. Near zero. But in some off chance he did, it would not be good. But still, I don't think it would be as bad as the 3 scenarios I said. Satoshi is George Soros. I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. It's been a while. You lost some weight. I did lose some weight. I'm below 200 again. Finally. I'm trying to get to at least 190. But I probably lost like 30 something pounds over the last 6 months or so. Probably a year. It's probably longer than that. Do you still believe in a DCA method with the current market? Yes, but selectively. The only things I DCA into now is pretty much Bitcoin and Sol. That's it. Maybe a little ETH at times, but nothing else. And of course, Clash. Well, I've been holding Clash since the beginning. But everything else, you know, like I believe the big caps, like ETH, Sol, maybe even like XRP, these guys, because institutions are in them now, they're going to survive. And they're going to do very well when the market turns around because the ETF inflows will be massive. This is outside Bitcoin. But all these other projects, man, they still have great leaders. Some have great leadership. And some still have great communities. But, man, the confidence have been absolutely wrecked. Right? It's going to take them a long, 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 long time to come back. So I still think big caps will. Mid caps and small caps, now I'm starting to believe that some will never recover to their heyday. Before, I did think that almost everything would at least reach their 2021 high. Now, my thesis has changed that probably majority of mid caps and small caps will never reach their 2021 high. Should I sell my ADA or hold on? I can't tell you that. I know Charles is not giving up. He's staying strong. He's still, you know, holding things down for Cardano, but I know the price sucks. I mean, the price of almost everything sucks in crypto, except Clash. But that's it, you know? I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I think Cardano is going to be fine long term. They have their own struggles, not with price, but like things like scaling and stuff like that. And governance, they're trying to fix, going complete decentralization. Not trying to fix, they're trying to perfect, I should say. So there are things they're working on. Robots are the future. Tesla even said they're ending production of the S and the X just so they could retool those factories to build Optimus robots. And at CES, it was all about robots, right? Robots are getting damn close near of basically doing anything. But I don't know how they solve the battery problem. Those robots must take so much power that after they do what they do, they're dead in like 30 minutes. Maybe at most an hour, right? You need a robot around the house doing stuff like 8 hours a day and then go charge. You can't have them do 1 hour and then go charge, and a 1 hour, one charge, and then like it would defeat the purpose. At factories, if you keep them plugged in all the time, then they'll be fine if they're just at an assembly line or something. But for home, I don't know how they're going to solve the battery problem. So we'll see. We'll see. That's the thing about batteries. Over the last few decades, yes, we have moved to like lithium ion. I think that was the biggest move. And now we have like super fast charging, but capacity of the batteries haven't improved much at all. Tesla came out with some new batteries that don't have the ends or something, and they're supposed to be like 10 or 20% more efficient, but that's it. We haven't like doubled or tripled or tenfolded battery storing capability. We just added more battery. That's it. Like everything with your phones and stuff, they just put in a bigger battery, but they haven't made a battery more super efficient. That's the thing. We haven't, I don't know, maybe it's impossible, but we haven't been able to create. Imagine if they create a battery in your phone where you don't have to charge it for a week. Like, that's just not feasible. So they just make it so that you can charge really quickly. So with super fast charging, you know, it's done in 15 minutes. But imagine if you do super fast charging and it just lasts forever. They just can't do that. But anyways, going back to the robots. I mean, those robots don't have that much space for batteries. So I don't know how you're going to make them last very long. Thoughts on Google Project Genie 3 crashing Gaiman? What? I have no idea. Is Gaiman, you mean game, or I don't know what it is. Solid state batteries are in the market being used in electric motorcycles. How are they compared to lithium ion batteries? What do the aliens have? Maybe they have XRP. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know what the aliens have. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Enough rambling. Today, okay. The market's not getting any worse. Let's just put it that way. Have we found max pain for Bitcoin and crypto? Possibly. We don't know. There's things going on this week that we have to get through. The government shutdown, jobs report. Are we going to see a turnaround for gold and silver? Are we going to see more tariff threats towards, say, UK by Trump? These are things we don't know right now, okay? What I do know is this. It's scary, and I recognize that, and a lot of people have lost hope. I have not, and I hope you guys stay in the game because we will get through this. The fundamentals are still great, and there are a lot of signs that show that this is absolutely the time to be DCAing, okay? Especially for Bitcoin. Periods like this don't come very often, but now we're being gifted one. All right, smash the like, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord for trading. We have a good team of traders. If you want to learn how to trade, or join for Clash. Learn about Clash if you haven't already, and check out ClashPicks. You won't be disappointed. All right.